Sonic Cinematic Universe, X, Sonic Boom. Chapter 2, Bonding.
Mister? I think we're lost.
Tails spoke up from inside the thick jacket, looking around. It was snowing hard on the mountain, and part of him wished there was a creepy cabin with hostile people to dance battle with around the corner. But nope, just snow and trees.
Maybe we can just pick a direction and go. We'll end up getting off eventually.
Don't sweat it, kid. I know what I'm doing. This mountain is only a few minutes away from the village.
The really big blue hedgehog spoke, giving him a small head pat. Something about this hedgehog, Tails had to admit, reminded him of Sonic. From his looks to his speed.
Dawn, I can't see a thing in this snow.
We can find shelter and wait out the storm.
Tails offered, checking his device. It couldn't get a reading in the snow, something he made a mental note to fix later.
When the storm dies down, we should be able to navigate our way off the mountain.
So we have to sit around and wait? Yeah, no thanks.
Well, maybe.
Tails shifted around a bit, emerging from the coat and using his tails to fly up.
Give me your hand. I might be able to fly us high enough to see where we need to go.
Won't I be too heavy for you to lift?
He can't be any heavier than Knuckles.
He chuckled, grabbing the hedgehog's hand and flying up. It was difficult. He will admit the hedgehog was definitely heavy, but managed to fly up with him. Unfortunately, he couldn't make up high enough above the tree line to see much. He let them both gradually fall back down, panting heavily.
It was a good try, kid.
I can try again. We almost got high enough.
The hedgehog didn't seem to like that.
I am not letting you do that again. You'll hurt yourself.
Oh great, now this hedgehog sounded like Sonic. It wasn't necessarily a bad thing, it just didn't feel right coming from the stranger.
But maybe you can fly above by yourself and look around.
I don't even know what your village looks like.
Don't worry, you literally can't miss it. You got this, little bud.
Bud? So we're friends?
The hedgehog seemed taken aback by the question.
Well, yeah, sure. Why not?
Tails beamed, tails spinning happily. He jumped up, taking flight.
I'll find your village, I promise.
He zoomed upwards, a trail of yellow following him. Once he was high enough, he looked around, squinting through the snow.
Come on, where? Hey, Mr. Hedgehog, I see it!
He made his way down, looking for his blue friend. He was rightfully concerned when there was no sign of him.
Mr. Hedgehog?
He looked around, scared that he had been left behind, or worse, that something had happened to his new friend.
Mr. Hedgehog?
He called out. Walking around the premises, the sound of talking drew his attention, and he made his way to the source, peeking from behind a tree. He saw his friend, but he also saw he was surrounded by crab, like robots. And he was talking to someone in a flying, egg-shaped device. He couldn't make out what they were talking about. All he heard was Sonic, Dr. Eggman, and something about rescheduling a fight. That name, Dr. Eggman. He knew that name. Sonic called Dr. Robotnik, that when he absorbed the Chaos Emeralds. And if that blue hedgehog was named Sonic, then it was like a light bulb went off in his head. This place, he was in another universe, and this was that universe's Sonic, which explained why he had a two-tailed friend. That was probably the him of this universe. So then, that could only mean that there was a Dr. Robotnik in this universe. And if he was anything like the Robotnik he knew, he had to get to his brothers. He watched the person fly away, robots following. He felt relieved that his new friend no longer seemed to be in any danger. But that relief was replaced by a new fear. The fear that his brothers weren't safe.
Mr. Hedgehog! I saw the village. It's just that way.
Good job, kid. I knew you could do it.
He raised his arms, making a grabbing motion as he expected for this bigger Sonic to pick him up like he did before. The bigger Sonic chuckled and scooped him up.
You're spoiled, do you know that?
You enable this behavior.
Tails remarked as he stole the brown handkerchief that was tied around the hedgehog's neck and used it to cover himself.
Now come on, that way.
Okay. But you are not keeping my scarf. I mean it.
Sonic snorted as he snapped awake, sitting up and wiping the drool from his cheek. He looked around, noticing his new friend had started carrying him in his arms after he fell asleep. He didn't even remember falling asleep. Then again, after everything that's happened the past few weeks, he really shouldn't be so surprised that he was this tired.
Hey, are we there yet?
Are we where?
Your village, your home, wherever your friend is.
He watched the echidna pause and think.
You forgot where we were going.
A little. Don't worry, I'll get us where we need to go, as soon as I figure out where we are.
Sonic quirked a brow, not really sure Knuckles could do what he claimed. He may not have known the echidna long, but he could tell he wasn't the brightest. But he was nice, and he means well. Sonic could respect that.
Oh, maybe we can play a game to pass the time. I know a bunch of great games.
Sonic smiled, mind racing with ideas. He pulled out his phone, opening up a new note and making a chart to keep score.
Okay, we can play Would You Rather, 20 questions, or Never Have I Ever.
The echidna stared at him, brain not understanding the words that just came from his mouth.
Okay, let's just play Never Have I Ever. So to play, all we do is say things we've never done before. And if the other has done it, then they lose, and the other person gets a point.
He did have to adjust the rules a little, not wanting to move so Knuckles could have a free hand to play the game. He was comfy.
Sounds complicated.
Don't worry, we can practice first.
Ah, yes. The practice round. Something that came in handy when he was teaching his brothers about earthly games and customs.
I'll start okay. Let's see, never have I ever eaten real food before the age of 12.
What did you eat?
Garbage from trash cans. Donut Lord always had the best trash.
Sonic fondly remembered his first bite of discarded pizza crust.
Okay, I know I'm not smart, but it doesn't take someone of average smarts to know that's concerning.
Sonic laughed, brushing off the echidna's concern.
It's fine. I eat 3 square meals a day with my new family now. All it took was a mental breakdown. Government agents trying to dissect me. A fun road trip, and at least 2 near-death experiences.
Are you okay?
Am I okay? That's silly, of course I'm okay. Yeah, I'm a little worried about my brothers who I don't know the whereabouts of, or if they're okay, or if they're even on this island. And maybe I am scared that this will be like what happened with Longclaw all over again. But I'm sure they're fine. I'm fine. Everything is way past cool, you know.
You definitely do not sound okay. You're clearly traumatized and suffering from the effects of keeping those emotions repressed. And now, you're in a situation that is bringing up these traumatic memories, and it's causing you to gradually spiral. It doesn't help that you have no means of contacting your support systems, for example, your brothers and parents.
Sonic stared at Knuckles in awe, mouth open in shock.
Clearly repression isn't the healthy approach to handling these emotions, so perhaps you should try talking about it.
How what?
What? Just because I'm a meathead doesn't mean I don't know my stuff when it comes to mental health. Mental health is important.
I guess. Are you sure you're okay? With me talking about myself, that is.
Why wouldn't I be?
You barely know me.
And you barely know me, but we're still traveling together. So, come on, tell me.
Well, it all started when I was born.
Knuckles looked down at the slowly approaching ground. They were closer to the bottom of the temple's pit, the thought of being grounded sounding divine. The fox on his shoulders was lost in thought, something he himself couldn't afford to do. Their game of truth and deceit had been, admittedly, fun. He had learned much about this fox. However, the more he pondered the intel he had gotten, the more a theory of his made sense. What was his theory? That him and his brothers had wound up in an alternate yet parallel realm.
Knuckles?
And while he had grown to trust and care for this fox, he had a feeling he was somehow behind this predicament.
Knuckles?
And while he enjoyed the company, the fox was a constant reminder of his own brothers, whose location was unknown to him, and their well-being. Simply put, he was worried about them.
Knuckles!
He snapped from his thoughts, fists ready for punching. As he looked around for a threat, he noticed something. He was no longer gliding. He was standing on solid ground.
Oh, we have landed.
He remarked, setting the fox down.
We landed like 5 minutes ago. What happened? You were just completely out of it.
Your concern is appreciated, but unnecessary. I am perfectly fine.
The echidna looked at the fox, still entangled in nets.
Let me see if I can free you.
He raised a fist, red electricity crackling around it.
Ah! No. You're gonna kill me if you do that.
The fox got really frantic. This confused Knuckles.
But I will not be punching you. I will punch the ropes that bind you.
I'm behind the ropes. You'll hit me too. Ah!
Knuckles had pretended to listen, taking the moment the fox was distracted as an opportunity to punch the nets. The nets did in fact break, but so did something else.
Ew.
Are you alright?
The fox coughed in response.
Okay, perhaps you were right about the dangers of punching you free. I am deeply sorry for the damages I have caused.
It's fine. Just a broken rib or two. It's not a big deal.
The fox was clearly lying. His face screamed that he was in pain.
It could be worse.
The fox looked horrified as the words left his mouth, and as if the universe itself was against them, things got worse. The temple ceiling began to crumble.
I shouldn't have said anything.
Worry not, Fox. I shall get us both out of this temple of buddies, and then I shall aid you in the fixing of your skeleton.
Knuckles vowed, lifting the fox up with caution. Regardless of the level of care with which he handled the fox, it was clear any little thing caused him pain.
I really am sorry.
He mumbled as he began running.
It's fine, really. This is nowhere near as bad as the time I was crushed by a huge chunk of metal, or the time my plane was shot down and I crashed.
The fox tried to laugh, but it devolved into a coughing fit.
You must be resilient and strong to have survived that. Your friends are lucky to have someone as strong as you as a friend.
Knuckles slid through an opening, getting the two of them into a new area of the temple that was stable.
Stronger? Me? No. I'm the smart one, not strong.
Knuckles raised a brow at the fox, unsure why he thought so little of himself or why he didn't accept the praise.
Everyone on the team has their role. We have the fast one, the strong one, the temperamental, and the paranoid one. I'm the smart one.
And these roles you speak of, you are not allowed to deviate from them.
He watched the fox open his mouth, but then close it. He seemed to take in and process what he had said.
Has none of the others ever been smart, or fast, or strong, regardless of roles?
I mean, we have, but
Then I see no reason why I can't be smart and strong. This is not up for debate. Accept the praise, and let us continue our quest through this temple of buddies.
okay, thank you.